In this edition of 2020 Daily Trail Markers, the final member of the so-called squad has announced which Democratic presidential candidate she will be supporting in 2020. On Wednesday, Representative Ayanna Pressley of Massachusetts broke with the other freshman Democratic Congresswoman to endorse her home state Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I have seen Elizabeth in small church basements and in packed gymnasiums, and she is consistent. She never loses sight of the people. This election is a fight for the very soul of our nation. Elizabeth knows how to fight, and she knows how to win. I'm proud to call her my senator. I can't wait to call her our president.
The endorsement is a victory for Warren, who is also leading the latest Quinnipiac University poll out of Iowa. CBS News 2020 campaign reporter Zak Hudak has been following Warren's campaign. He joins me now from Durham, North Carolina. Welcome, Zak. Great to see you. So I guess we should preface all of this by saying Warren and Pressley know each other well. They're both obviously from Massachusetts. So is there more to this endorsement than the fact that they are colleagues?
Tanya, there's speculation, of course, that if Elizabeth Warren were to become president, that would leave her Senate seat in Massachusetts open. Now, Governor Charlie Baker, a Republican, would he appoint a Democrat? I don't know, probably not. But you have to think that Pressley, a rising star in the Democratic Party, is already thinking about the potential of that race. She hasn't done anything to indicate that, but I would think most people would prefer to be a senator than be a congressperson. And beyond that, we have this separate race where Joe Kennedy III is trying to take on Ed Markey, both of whom have endorsed Warren. A little bit of complicated drama going on there, but a lot of talk there that the reason Kennedy felt the need to do that is he sees the potential for Warren to win the presidency, and then all of a sudden that seat's open, and by that point, Pressley is primed to run, and he is out and not becoming a senator.
Interesting. Okay, so Pressley, who is, of course, a member of this so-called squad, this group of freshman congresswomen, broke rank and supported Warren instead of Sanders, as the other members of the squad did. What does her endorsement mean for Warren?
She offers Warren, Warren has faced a lot of skepticism over her ability to win over black voters. Ayanna Pressley is one of the most high-profile female black politicians in the country. She's young, she's charismatic, and she would make a great television surrogate for Warren. But beyond all of that, I think we have to keep in mind that Pressley is considered to be part of the squad, but there are a lot of scenarios where we've seen the other three members stick together, hold press conferences that Pressley has not been a part of. It seems to some extent that, willingly or not, Pressley got lumped into the squad just by nature of being in this group of progressive female women of color who came in 2018. But if you look at her politics, while someone like AOC has politics more similar to Bernie Sanders, right? I mean, she will actually describe herself as a democratic socialist. Ayanna Pressley, she's certainly progressive, but she's a lot more like Elizabeth Warren. She is a capitalist who, wants to change things, but does not want to, I guess, burn down the house, I would say.
And Zach, on Tuesday, former Vice President Biden stepped up his attacks by targeting Senator Warren in a post he wrote for Medium. Biden described her approach to politics as, quote, elitism. And he repeated those statements in a radio interview Wednesday. Let's listen.
She has things in her plan that are just not realistic. But when you question it, she talks about it as, well, you just don't understand, or you're sounding like a Republican, which is a talking point that is used by the other party, not by us. It's not who we are. And it's just an elitist attitude about you're either my way or the highway. You mustn't know what you're talking about if you disagree with it.
So, Zach, Biden himself is often accused of failing to garner support among the working class due to his lack of grassroots fundraising. So how exactly is calling Elizabeth Warren elitist a good strategy for his campaign?
Couple things to unpack here, Tanya. Elizabeth Warren does have certain characteristics that sort of tag her into that elitist category. We're talking about a Harvard law professor. She essentially created the CFPB. So while she's not a lifelong politician, she has, been in sort of elite circles for a long time. It's something that she does not highlight on the campaign trail. Harvard does not come up. She talks about being a law professor. She's not talking about the Ivy League schools she taught about. She's talking a lot more about growing up in Oklahoma as a poor kid, struggling to get through, having to get a scholarship to college, and then eventually, paying her way to the University of Houston on a waitressing job. Right. So she definitely tries to keep away from that elitist status. Joe Biden, I think he has a lot of working class support, but I know there's reporting out there that the term working class Joe is something that really only he calls himself. Mm-hmm. And as you said, you look at the grassroots fundraising numbers, Joe Biden's here holding large dollar fundraisers regularly, mm-hmm. and Warren is blowing him out of the water in the money game almost purely from small donors.
Right. Very interesting. And Zak Hudak in Durham, North Carolina, we thank you so much for your reporting.
Thank you.